All right, welcome back to Buckets on Buckets, presented by KFC on Overtime. We're in the fourth quarter of a great NBA Finals game. We're going to be joined by my buddy from the Portland Trailblazers, CJ McCollum. CJ, what's up, man?
What's going on, brother? Appreciate you having me on.
Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. A lot of Jimmy Butler right now, and the Heat defense has made some adjustments, and we've seen a little bit of a comeback here from LA. I'm curious to see, how LeBron gets into oh my God, as I say it, takeover mode, and all of a sudden he goes down the lane, get an and one, chance to cut it to two.
Jimmy's not sitting more than 3 minutes here to start this quarter, because if they lose this game, the series is over. And Bron's in start the fourth quarter mode, which means I'm no longer trying to get a triple-double. I'm trying to win so I can go home and see my family.
Yeah, no doubt. You guys played the Lakers in the first round. What makes them so difficult? I've asked Jamal that too. Jamal Murray was just on for the third quarter. But what makes them so difficult to beat? They've had, honestly, a pretty dominant run here in the playoffs.
I think their versatility. They can beat you a lot of different ways. They beat us with LeBron scoring 14 points. As I say that, Jimmy Butler checks back into the game.
Yeah.
They beat us.
Spo knows what's up. Spo knows what's up.
Yeah, he's not ready to go home and see his kids yet. They beat us every type of way, scoring in transition. They had role players hit threes. They have the ability to kind of play a lot of different ways. As you see against the Eastern Conference team like Miami Heat, it's the 80s. There'll be a low hundreds game. They beat us high hundreds, mid hundreds, just mainly due to their versatility, size, and when their role players play well, it's almost impossible to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I've said that twice already tonight. It's when their role players are on, as Rondo was in Game 2, Dwight's had a huge impact. KCP in Game 1, shooting the ball in the first half, they're impossible to beat. Do you get into the GOAT debate, the LeBron versus MJ debate at all?
I used to when I was younger. I used to argue with people all the time. Now it's just more so realize that everybody has different opinions, and people just ignore the fact that you played against Kobe, especially prime Kobe.
Yeah.
I caught him towards the end.
Yeah.
You played against prime Bron, and people will argue with you and tell you, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right. Well, I mean, Bron is certainly the greatest of my generation. I mean, to be honest with you, Kobe was impossible to guard, but he was impossible to guard for anybody. The guy I always hated going against was prime D Wade. That was it for me, man. Because he just was so good in so many different ways. Whereas Kobe, and you know this because you checked him at some point, but he was either going to make the shot or he was going to miss the shot. There wasn't a whole lot any defender could really do.
It's true, and
God, back-to-back threes, tie game.
Yeah, that's a big shot. Jimmy's going to have to go into aggressive mode. I think, you got a point. Kobe was always in attack mode, and if he smelled blood, if he felt like you were afraid of him or if he felt like he had an advantage, he would try to score every play. D Wade, he's going to get to the cup. He's going to hit fadeaways, and he's going to hit the big shots. I think my argument for people is that LeBron is the most complete player of our generation. If he wanted to average 35 to 40 a night, he could have for his career. He tried to get his teammates involved. He enjoyed passing. But I always tell people, if LeBron had Kobe or Michael Jordan's mentality, this wouldn't even be a discussion.
Yeah.
If he just wanted to go get buckets, he could go do that to make a statement. And he has done that before. But he plays the game, almost too unselfishly at times. And I think that's, in the argument's sake, that's why people will always argue Jordan and bring up the rings and all of that stuff. But if you close your eyes and picked one, like some people would say, you wouldn't be disappointed if you landed on either one of them.
No doubt. Rondo, by the way, has made 2 of those contested across-the-body left-hand layups off the glass in the last 5 minutes. All right, we're going to commercial break. CJ, we've got a segment called The Bucket. We're going to take some questions from fans, all right? Again, I have not curated these questions. I'm just reading you the questions. How does CJ shoot so well, and who do you think will win the finals?
Well, a lot of reps. There's a lot of people that probably shoot as good or better than me, but a lot of reps. I don't really care about misses. So I think when you don't care about misses, you become an even better shooter, just off the strength. Lakers in a landslide, although the Heat are challenging more than I thought they would without two of their key players.
Yeah. I got a question. When you're doing your shooting workouts, do you count only makes or do you count total shots? Like if
I used to count total shots growing up. It was shots, 500, 700,000, whatever the case may be. Now we do more so drill-based stuff. So it's make 7, get out. And I don't keep track of the total, but like whoever's rebounding might keep track of the total. But I might do a 15-shot variation drill for conditioning where it's run to the corner, 3, catch and shoot 3, 1 dribble left, 1 dribble right, like that. But we're doing makes, so I'm not even counting shots.
Yeah.
As you can see, Fiona's just crawling around.
I love it. No, I like the shot combo drills too. Those are my favorite drills. You mix in like 3 or 4 shots. You do 3 or 4 reps through. So you take 12 to 15 shots and maybe you say like, all right, I got to make 11 out of 15 or 9 out of 12, whatever it may be. All right, there's another question. What was your favorite part of the bubble?
I think the storytelling and the fraternity that was displayed. Hanging around all the guys. Like I seen you by the pool. I like to see people's routines. I like to have those conversations, like in passing. Those are the things that you really remember. I think with our group of guys, you've seen us. We hang out like most teams hang out together. But the storytelling is even deeper, especially when you got a guy that's been in the league, 16 years, 15 years. You got staff. You eat with other teams. You get to hear the storytelling and just gain a better understanding of everybody's experiences in the league.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments from the bubble was after our last exhibition game. Actually, it was Josh Hart and I went back to the Players Lounge, and we were all staying at the same hotel. The Blazers and the Pelicans were, and Melo was in there with Kyle O'Quinn, who I played with in Orlando and is maybe the funniest player in the NBA, and Lance Thomas, who's obviously a Duke guy and played with Melo with the Knicks. And the 5 of us just had some wine and chatted till about 2 a.m. And the Melo stories out of that were just amazing. And that got recreated multiple times, whether it was after games with teammates or friends. That was certainly an awesome part of the bubble. All right, next question. Who is the hardest player to guard in the league? That's a foul.
Combo. I used to hate guarding you, especially when you were in LA, because the first quarter was like feed JJ. And then I don't understand. They'd give you the ball the first quarter, and you would touch it for 3 quarters. It was just confusing to me. But the first quarter was brutal with the illegal.
It was confusing to me too.
I would say it started with you and Ginobili and Jamal Crawford, but now it's like Steph, because the on-ball, off-ball combination is just crazy, where he has the ultimate green. They look for him the whole game, and then he can go off ball. And when they're at their best, Draymond's initiating, and Steph gives it up and comes off screens. It's hard to guard. We're done with the questions with the bucket, by the way. You had an interesting end of your second year, I want to say, in the playoffs versus Memphis, if I'm not mistaken, where you basically killed for that series. And it gave you this like momentum going into your third year, which is the year that you guys, I think, beat us in the playoffs. But I remember playing a preseason game in LA that year, and you were just cooking. And I came off a pick and tried to do my little throw and go chase action with Blake, and you stayed with me, and you were like, "Nah, JJ, it's not like last year. It's not like last year." And at that point, I'm still like, I knew you were a good player, but I was like, man, all right, guy. And then by the end of the second quarter, I was like, oh, this dude is a hooper. I think you ended up with like 37 in a preseason game. It was wild. Yeah, those is real games for me, and that's the funny part. Like, I remember going to those games and watching and not playing.
You talking about the preseason
that I'm
games?
going to post.
Yeah.
The preseason games. Those is real games when you're trying to get into the lineup. You're trying to solidify who you are. And, in years past, I wouldn't play in those. So I wouldn't play in preseason. And then I wouldn't play in regular season. So it was just a lot of frustration to where I was like, this is a playoff game. Approach it like that, and it'll carry over. And I just wanted to stay locked in because I knew, I told my mom and dad, I told my girl, I was like, if I don't play well this season, they're going to trade me. It's like a 3-week it's a 3-year window of prove who you are in this league or they label you. And I hadn't found a label yet. And I knew, I was like, you got to get buckets. You got to be aggressive. You got to show who you are or you're going to be going to a new city.
Tyler Herro struggling a little bit tonight, gets 2 big threes. It seems like no moment is too big for him. Like he's just built. He's made for this stage.
Yeah, he has the irrational Kentucky confidence. I love it though. Like he just.
They all have that too. They all have that.
Kentucky players. It's the Kentucky mentality, but I love it. The swag is there. Jimmy empowers them. That's going to be a triple-double. Jimmy empowers them, and in his mind, he's 10 for 10, and he think he's supposed to get the ball. Like this is his team in his mind already, which is what you want from your guys in these moments.
Bro, you said it, man. Like Jimmy. First of all, it's the Heat have empowered Jimmy, and then Jimmy in turn has empowered them. It's one of the best free agency signing trade, whatever you want to call it, in recent memory. Like this worked out so well for both teams. I'm so happy for Jimmy. I want to tell one little preseason story because I don't think people really realize, like when you're a young player and you're not playing, every time you get any minutes, you are like trying to kill. I mean, at some point my second year where I wasn't playing at all, I would try to kill and shoot around. Like that was my competition. That was my only time on the floor. I remember it was either my third year, beginning of my third year, we were playing Atlanta. And this is like Joe Johnson's like now, 6 straight All-Star games or whatever it was. And we're guarding each other in the first half. And he comes to me at a free throw line. He's like, hey, man, he's like, can you just like slow down a little bit? Like, I'm not really trying to play hard tonight. And I remember being like, Joe, like, this is it for me. Like, this is all that I can do right now. I'm trying to like show that I belong in the league. And, it's tough, man, early on in your career. And you talk about potentially getting traded by Portland. And I mean, you've had an unbelievable run there. You and Dame are just an incredible combo. And I'm obviously, as a friend, I'm happy for your success, man.
I appreciate that, man. I think a lot of younger guys don't understand the importance of the preparation. And my rookie year, I had OGs. I had Earl Watson on my team. I had Mo Williams. I had Jerome Wright, Chris Kaman. And they used to always tell me, young fella, your time gonna come. But you got to do all the little stuff. You got to show up early. You got to practice hard. And really remember these moments that you're going through. And that's how I've always approached it now when I get younger guys. It's crazy. I'm almost 30. I'm talking about like younger guys on the team. You kind of tell them like layup lines, you're being evaluated. You're being evaluated if you don't show up at 3:30 when your game's at 7 and know you're not playing. Like I used to take this is before Uber. We was taking taxis.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Early bus.
Early.
Yeah.
You beat an early bus to get your work in while the cheerleaders on the court because that's your game. And then you run the stairs. And there used to be scouts watching at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I used to tell guys, you're being evaluated right now. Fast forward, Alan Crabb gets $74 million from Brooklyn. Will gets traded to Denver. And both of them guys are starters in the league, getting paid a lot of money as second-round picks.
Tyler Herro with another bucket just now. Kelly Olynyk, by the way, low-key has like 17 and 6 tonight. He's had a great game.
I love his game. He would look great in a Trailblazer uniform.
That's I think that's tampering, by the way. I think that's tampering.
Oh.
We'll edit
red
that.
And black. It's just the red and black, man.
We'll edit that out of the YouTube version of this. The live version, I can't promise you anything, man.
It's all good, man. Hey, everybody gonna be a free agent one day.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, looks like we're going to another commercial break. All right, this one is called Hot Buckets. This is your opportunity to provide us with a hot take. I actually like this question a lot. If there was no bubble and the regular season had proceeded as planned, would these be the 2 teams that had made the finals?
I want to say no, because home court advantage is a killer.
There
And
you go.
imagine if teams had to actually fly to Miami. Imagine if teams had to actually fly. Could you imagine if this was the actual LA Miami finals right now, and it was going back to Miami for game 3? So I think it would have been a little different. I think Milwaukee would have played better. Obviously, that Boston series would have been a little different. I think the Clippers series is what it is because you've been there. The fans get there a little late anyway, but I think the mentality would have been. I think the mentality would have been different for a lot of guys if they were in their own element.
Oh man, between you and Jamal Murray, just like you guys just coming on, just throwing shots, tampering.
I mean, we're being honest here, man. I played in the playoffs against the Clippers a lot of times, and I will be able to see my girl or my family in the stands right away because there was empty seats around. Because people were just getting in late with the traffic.
You've only played in the Western Conference, right? So like
only in the West.
You can't say the Blazers because like that. Don't be a homer. Obviously the Blazers, you're going to say that, but like, what do you think is the best playoff atmosphere that you've played against?
Outside of us, OKC is wild, especially in a tightly contested game. It gets loud in there. The Oracle, before they moved to new arenas, I used to think they were pumping noise in there, especially like if they hit like 2 or 3 threes in a row, you can't hear. Like the Dame trying to call a play, I'm like, I can't hear you, bro. Signal. Yeah. I don't know what you're saying. Like it's that loud.
The thing about Oracle that was so cool, and like early on in my career, they weren't very good. Obviously, my rookie year, that was the We Believe team, but then they had a stretch where they weren't very good. But the Oracle honestly, it was like Portland a couple years, early on when you guys weren't in the playoffs. I don't think it was when you were there, but like early, Dame's rookie year, whatever. But like fans are still great. Oracle was awesome. OKC's always awesome. And the Rose Garden or the Moda Center was always one that I was like, oh, this is dope. Honestly, this is why I think Toronto, to me, I had them winning the East this year. I really did. I thought they were going to win the East, and I think them not having that home court advantage in the bubble is huge. And keep in mind too, people don't really understand this, but like you're going in and out of customs every time you fly in and out of that place. And and they got a crazy atmosphere in there. It's a tough place to play. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have Miami winning the East, but
I didn't either. I actually thought the Clippers would make it to the championship this year.
Well, it's funny because I think the Clippers were the one team in the West that could beat the Lakers, and Denver I don't think matched up quite as well with them. There's something about the way that the guys on the Clippers looked at the Lakers and that rivalry that, I think they had a little bit of a mental edge where I just think the Lakers were just too good for everybody else in the West.
Yeah, I think with a healthy roster, I think we would have gave them more of a run for their money. But obviously,
how was your back, by the way? How was your back?
It's a lot better. I actually get a CT scan in 2 weeks just to kind of check in and see how things going. But it feels a lot better. The dog walks and the retired life has been treating me well.
Okay. Can you do your Mike Tyson impersonation just once, please?
I broke my back. Spinal.
Spinal.
My back. Spinal.
So good. So good. The first time I heard of you, CJ, by the way, we've talked about this before, but I'm going to bring this up because I like you, and it would be disingenuous of me if I didn't bring this up. But the first time I heard of you was when you put on a performance against Duke in the NCAA tournament, and your team Lehigh beat us. Going into that game, what was your mindset?
This is my moment. I have been waiting on this my whole life. I was envious. I ain't gonna lie. I was envious of all big school players. I hated Duke in general. And the fact that they were able to play on TV, like those types of schools were able to play on TV every day. They had multiple pairs of shoes. They had the hype. they were considered like NBA ready because of their competition they played against. Like I was just jealous and envious, and I couldn't wait to play against a team like that. I had got a taste of the NCAA tournament my freshman year when we played Kansas, and they had the Morrison twins, T-Rob, Sharon Collins, Tyshawn Taylor, Cole Aldridge, Xavier Henry. And I played well, but I was 160 pounds. So at that point, like I had got close to 200, and I was a junior. And I was like, oh, they say Austin Rivers is a lottery pick. They got who else did they have? I don't remember. I think it was about 3 or 4. Mason Plumlee was there. There was about 3 or 4 NBA players in their team, and no one was considering us, like giving us a chance. They were like, oh, Duke will slide. Duke will go to the Final Four. And I'm like, there's no way they're going to beat us because it's going to come down to guard play, and they have nobody that can guard me. And I told my brother I was going to get 30. I told the coaching staff, I was like, I'm going to get 30. I just need a little bit of help. I told the team, I'm going to keep us in the game, just keep it close. And I win it late. And I honestly wasn't surprised we won because I had kind of seen like how they play. I seen the guards, and I said, there's nobody out there that can guard.
Did you like this call, by the way?
Jimmy is the master of getting free throws. Like a lot of times he just goes in to get contact. I love how he seeks contact. I got to add that to my game.
He seeks it out.
Points.
Well, he's got the frame to do it. Speaking of frame, you just brought this up. There's this picture. By the way, I'm watching the game. I'm not reading off anything, but there's this picture. This is genuinely that just popped in my head. There's this picture of you, and I think it was B.J. Mullins, maybe.
It was Costa.
It was Costa. Yeah, that's who it is. Your freshman year in high school.
The funny part is that picture is my sophomore year.
That picture's your sophomore year?
5'7", 115 pounds. Ooh, that's tough.
There's part of me that has never wanted to believe that picture's real.
It's real. And the funnier part is that I thought I was going to the league at that size and that height, and people used to laugh at me. And I was like, I'm going to get taller eventually. What? I thought I was irrational confidence, JJ.
Well, we all have that to a degree.
I'm going to the league.
That's tough. That's a tough 3. Wait, so you thought you were 5'7", 115 sophomore year. You thought you were going to the league. At what point did you hit a growth spurt?
So I always thought I was going to the league, right? My freshman year, I was 5'2", 108 pounds. I played 3 quarters JV, 2 quarters varsity. I averaged 20 points a game in 3 quarters at 5'2". Like I was getting baskets.
That's not a surprise to me, by the way. That's not a surprise to me.
Sophomore year didn't go as planned. All right, so that's when the confidence kind of wavered. I was like, this might not be it. I ain't got no scholarship offers. I don't even start varsity. I'm coming off the bench. Yeah. So I kind of like another foul draw. I kind of dedicate my work ethic towards creating space, getting stronger, wet jump shot. I go from averaging. It's kind of like my NBA career. I averaged 6.8 points per game my sophomore year. I jumped to 25. I hit a growth spurt. I get to 5'11". I'm about 135, 140 pounds. And I go from 6 points a game to 25. And that's when I knew. My first career start, I broke the school record and scored 54 points.
That's 5'11". Amazing.
And that's when I was like, if I get to 6'2", I got action.
If I get to 6'2", I'm in.
6'2", I'm getting to the league. And I got to 6'3". I committed to the league, I had 5'11".
At no point in time, I mean, I was getting buckets at that age too. At no point in time was I like, oh, I'm going to the NBA. I never thought that.
Once you got to Duke, you had to think you was going to the league, though. Once you played the McDonald's game, you knew.
True story. I had a rough time. My sophomore year. I was third-team All-American. We made the Final Four or whatever. But I had a rough year. It was a hard year for me. Made some changes in my life going into my junior year. But at the start of my junior year, I took Italian because I was like, it'd be cool if I could go earn some money overseas, and Italy seems like a nice place to travel and go hoop. This is my junior year at Duke. Like I still was not like, it wasn't like, I had De'Aaron Fox was on the podcast the other day, and he was talking about when he was 15, he was like, I saw myself on a mock draft, then I knew I was going to be in the NBA. I'm like, what?
I was checking mock drafts at Lehigh, but they had me like undrafted the second round. And I was like, gotta get better.
Jimmy Butler has basically, that gif of him.
Right foot, right hand.
Yeah, that was nice. That gif of him at the end of game 2, where he's like, all right, when he's on the bench. You saw that? It was all over
And
Instagram.
he talking. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got 41. He's got 41, 12, and 10.
I love his game.
Bro.
I love his game mentality because people don't put respect on his name enough. Like, he is really, really good. He's out here without 2 starters.
Yeah.
In the finals against arguably the best player of all time, and is killing. Like, I had him getting swept when they said Bam was hurt, and Gordon, I was like, it's over.
When I did game 1, I had D'Angelo Russell on in the 4th, so we have a bet. I don't think the Heat are getting swept. I told him that game 1, so we bet a nice bottle of wine. So apparently he likes Opus 1, so it looks like I'm not going to have to buy him a bottle of Opus 1. I am going to send something. I'm going to find something, maybe a Dujac, a Puncel, some red Burgundy for him to get me. Hey, speaking of wine, I'm going to give your wine a plug, even though you can't buy it because it's sold out. Good for you, man. I'm happy for you, bro.
Thank you, man.
No, but it's you partnered with a winery out in the Willamette Valley, and you have your own wine. You released it, and now no one can buy a bottle because they're all spoken for.
They're all spoken for. However, there's some other things that we have planned in the future. Well, you will be able to potentially get something else. You'll have to visit McCollumHeritage91.com. It's available there. Will be available there. We'll do a release, a press release in the next few months to kind of let people know what's going on next. They just kind of gave that up.
Yeah, I mean they tried to run a little misdirection. Hammer action is basically a reverse screen for the guy on the wing to get on a baseline drive to get to the corner. Kuzma was the guy going for the 3. God, Tyler Herro in the 4th. He wants it.
Big lips. Me mug. Somebody
I don't know that
it stinks.
I don't like making fun of guys' appearance at all. I'd never do it. But like Duncan Robinson had that thing on his chin. There's like 4 hairs in game 2. Tyler's got that going on right now. That's their playoff beard, bro. Hey, good for them.
They hit the Doug Funny young assassins. They call him Young Goat.
Yeah, Tyler Herro's, man, I've talked about him so much over the last month. He's tough. He's tough.
And the crazy part is that he was hurt most of the season, so people didn't get to see it. Kendrick Nunn started every game this year for the Miami Heat.
I know.
Every game, and he can hoop.
I know. Do you pay attention? Oh, Jimmy with another rebound to add to his triple-double already. Do you pay attention at all to the draft, college basketball? Like, is there anybody in this draft that you're particularly excited about to see in the NBA?
I've been seeing Cole Anthony work out since he was a young boy because I work out in New York a lot in the summer. Wow, big shot. Yeah. That's a big shot that's going to carry over next game for him because he's been struggling from shooting. I've been watching him since he was younger, so I'm looking forward to seeing him. The kid from Georgia, athletic. I like his story. And there's a couple big men that I've been watching. But other than that, unless there's my agent asking me about a player or like our organization asking us about players, I don't really watch.
Right. All right. It looks like D'Angelo Russell is going to owe me that bottle of wine. I'm very excited about that. Congrats to the Heat. Should be a great game 4.
Get out of there.
CJ, I appreciate you, bro. This was awesome. Be well,
no problem,
brother.
Man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Heal up.
I'm going to tap in with you.
Yeah. Always good to see you, bro.
For sure.